Have you ever been in a situation where you're trying to negotiate a deal? Whether it's buying a new car or maybe a mortgage on your house or even a salary negotiation, and you just feel like there's so much pressure and you don't really know how to dig in the right way to get what you want, especially in an ethical way. So today I'm going to talk about the Jedi mind trick of negotiation, where there's no manipulation needed or required, and you can negotiate on your terms and in a way that makes you feel good about what you're asking for. So by the end of this video, I'm going to give you some key strategies that you can start utilizing today to make that negotiation seamless and to really provide you with the confidence that you need. So a few years ago, I walked into a car dealership feeling confident but completely unprepared. I had done some research on a car that I really wanted, but when the salesperson started throwing all of those numbers and fees and the fancy terms, I just shut down and I completely froze. And before I knew it, I had almost agreed to this limited time offer that when I went home and I looked at it in hindsight, it really wasn't a deal at all. Sound familiar? I think we've all been there at some point in time. And I walked away from that experience feeling so frustrated, not just with the deal and being really mad that I felt like I was being taken advantage of, but I had almost accepted this deal. And I just had to sit back and think why. And I was frustrated with myself for not knowing how to push back effectively, not having that confidence. And it wasn't until later on that I realized negotiation isn't about being pushy or being aggressive. It's about influence, clarity, and strategy. And once I learned the right techniques, I was able to walk into future negotiations with confidence, whether it's buying a car, negotiating a salary, or even discussing contract terms for my business. And I often see that negotiation, it gets a bad rap, right? Because people think it's all about manipulation. But real effective negotiation, it's not that at all. It's about understanding, it's about influence, and brace yourself here. It's about collaboration, because we need that other person to buy in, right? Hi, my name is Jennifer. I've been a leader in the medtech corporate sector for well over 20 years, and I serve as a high conflict expert, coach, and consultant for high achievers, visionary entrepreneurs, and leaders just like you who are in high stakes environments. So I've helped many ambitious professionals and businesses turn conflict into competitive advantage, master high stakes leadership, and drive sustainable success through systems-driven discipline. So if that sounds like something that you need, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, where I'm dropping these game-changing science-backed strategies right here that you're not going to want to miss. So there's so much statistics behind winning negotiations as well, and winning them ethically. Here's the good news. Research from Harvard Business Review, it shows that collaborative negotiators, they reach better deals 42% more often than those who rely on aggressive tactics. So sometimes we can get a lot further with having our act together and having a strategy of how and what we're going to say. And guess what? These deals also last longer and they create stronger relationships. And you might ask, why is that? How are you looking to build relationships in the long term by negotiating? It's totally because it's not about manipulation. And negotiation isn't about beating out that other person. It's about finding a mutual win. And studies show that people who feel heard and valued in negotiations, they're also 30% more likely to engage in future deals with that same counterpart. So although you're nervous and stressed and thinking, wow, I really value this person and I'm trying to make a negotiation for myself and maybe feeling that selfish tendency, people respect people that are looking to have growth, to have a leg up. And doing a negotiation right can give you a leg up with people that you really want to continue to do business with. And that's why the best negotiators, they're not the most aggressive, but they're the ones who listen, who adapt, and who create value. Even FBI hostage negotiators, yes, those real-life action heroes, they emphasize empathy over intimidation. And according to Chris Voss in his latest book, this former FBI negotiator, he used tactical empathy, so he acknowledged the other party's emotions and perspective. And that can give you an unfair advantage, ethically, of course. In fact, hostage negotiators, they successfully resolve over 90% of cases without force. And it's simply by leveraging emotional intelligence. So imagine what that could do for your next salary negotiation or your business deal, right? It's all about your listening skills, making the other person feel heard, and also having your own strategy and knowing which direction that you want to go. So today I want to share with you 3 non-manipulative moves that can win really any negotiation. The first one is mirror like a pro. So people love hearing their own words. It makes them feel understood. It makes them feel like you're listening to them. So try mirroring by repeating maybe the last 2 or 3 key words that someone says. For example, they might say to you, "We just can't lower the price right now." And you can respond back by saying, almost like a question, "You can't lower the price right now?" Boom, silence. Watch them to start justifying and maybe even bending a little bit. So give that a shot. I know that's worked for me several times. And a second strategy is label their emotions. So instead of arguing, try this. It sounds like you're under a lot of pressure to stick to your budget. You'd be surprised how quickly defenses drop when people feel heard. According to studies in behavioral psychology, simply labeling emotions, it can reduce tension by over 40%. Why? Because the other person feels like you're understanding them and they feel heard. And they also feel that whatever you're proposing, that it's respectful because you're respecting their situation. A third strategy is use magic words like how and what. And make those how and what questions instead of asking them maybe in a different fashion. So instead of saying, "I need a discount," ask, "How can we make this work within my budget?" This forces them to collaborate with you rather than shutting you down. And it also forces them to have empathy for you, right? You're trying to work off of a budget and you're asking them for help. How can we make this work? Research shows that when people are asked how and what questions, they become twice as likely to engage in problem solving rather than resisting, right? So, think of some of the times that people have asked you those type of questions. How can you help them? Or how can I get here? It's almost like they're searching for you to be helpful to them. And it sometimes lightens the stress in the room as well, right? Because it comes through as a collaborative and a problem-solving type of discussion instead. So here's a bonus strategy. The power of strategic silence. I know this sounds weird, and I know sometimes, especially if you talk a lot when you're nervous, silence can feel so stressful, right? One of the most underutilized negotiation tools is silence, believe it or not. People naturally feel the need to fill the void, right? To fill that silence. And in negotiations, this can work in your favor. When you make a request or a counteroffer, pause. Let the other person process what you've just said. Sometimes I think we're nervous to even make the ask, and then we start justifying things. But what you need to do is make the ask, sit back, even if it's killing you inside, and just be silent. And studies have found that negotiators who use intentional pauses, they get 18% better deals than those who rush to fill the silence. And it also makes you look a lot more professional, right? Because you're kind of waiting for them instead of talking, and making the situation very overwhelming for them. So the next time, resist the urge to speak first. You might be surprised at what the other side offers when given the space to really think and to really hear you. So where can you use these tactics? You can use these anywhere. And the beauty of these strategies is that they aren't just for boardrooms or big business deals. You can apply them to almost every situation where persuasion, influence, and problem solving is required. So here's some real world scenarios where these tactics can be helpful. First of all, salary negotiations, right? Get paid what you're worth without feeling awkward or pushy. Job offers and promotions. Position yourself for a raise or better title by framing the conversation effectively. Freelance or consulting rates. Negotiate higher rates and better contract terms with clients. You can also use it for business contracts and deals. You want to secure vendor agreements, supplier discounts, or strategic partnerships that benefit all parties. And maybe some real estate or renting opportunities. Negotiate your home price, rent discounts, or a better lease term with the landlord. Car purchases, right? This is a big one. And also repairs. Get a fair deal at the dealership or negotiate better rates for vehicle service. Debt settlements. Work with creditors to adjust repayment terms without feeling pressured. And maybe family and personal discussions. Convince your partner about a vacation, home projects, or shared responsibilities. It can also be used for customer service disputes, getting refunds, policy exceptions, or better service from companies. And also, you can also use the strategy in negotiating with your kids to encourage your child to do their homework on time, eat clean, or clean their room without a battle. So the key takeaway here is negotiation isn't about winning at the other person's expense. It's about finding solutions that work for both sides. That balance, right? So whether you're negotiating a salary, a business deal, or just trying to get your kid to eat their broccoli, the key is influence and not manipulation. So with the right approach, you can walk away from any negotiation feeling confident, respected, and most importantly, successful. So now go forth and negotiate like a Jedi. So if you've got a negotiation win or maybe a horror story to share, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear about it. So if you found this content valuable, please consider sharing, please consider subscribing, and we'll see you all in the next video.